It is time for the annual spring pruning of this gorgeous thornless cockspur hawthorn. This is the Front Range Gardener, and I'm going to share the why, when, and how of pruning deciduous trees in Colorado. Follow along as I prune this hawthorn. Why do we prune? We prune for 3 reasons. The first reason to prune is to improve the health of the tree. Pruning dead and damaged branches removes vulnerabilities to disease and infestation. The second reason to prune is to improve the aesthetics of the tree. This hawthorn is a beautiful small tree in a small space. Pruning helps keep it in its space. The third reason to prune is for fire suppression. We prune to prevent ground fires from spreading into the crown of the tree. Now that's not a huge concern for this tree in this space, but for a lot of wildland landscapes, fire suppression is really important. Many gardeners come to Colorado from warmer climates with short dormant seasons. Fall pruning of deciduous trees is appropriate there. In Colorado, cold winter nights and a long dormant season mean that our pruning is best done in spring. Frost damage causes stems to die from the tip. If we were to prune in fall, then the frost damage might go farther down the stem. Pruning no earlier than March ensures that the coldest weather and the longest nights are behind us. We also want to prune prior to leaf and flower budding. Don't let the tree put energy into stems and branches that we later cut off. That suggests pruning before the end of April. Thus, the ideal time to prune Colorado deciduous trees is March to mid-April. The ideal time to like this video is right now. Let's sharpen our pruners and get to work. I'm going to remove any dead and damaged branches. These are opportunities for disease and infestation to attack the tree. Cut flush to the parent branch or main stem. If you can't tell if a branch is dead or not, wait till the tree leaves out to be sure. There is never a bad time to cut a dead branch. I also want to remove crossing branches. In the wind, branches that rub together can be a source of abrasions, which are also potential routes of infection. Removing crossing branches improves air circulation, which helps to reduce mold and fungal infections. I also want to remove weak joints. Branches that grow at a sharp angle to the trunk or main stem are weak and prone to damage. In order to preserve the shape of the tree, I want to remove stems that may compete with my main stem. I had a lot more of these last year when I pruned this tree. In order to keep this tree from outgrowing its space, I'm going to prune back the longest branches. I like to cut back to a side branch. Pick one that will become the new leader for that branch. Finally, remove any suckers or branches trying to grow on the lower part of the trunk. This improves the look of the tree, and it also prevents ground fires from climbing up into the canopy. Overall, remove no more than 1/4 to 1/3 of the branches. If the tree hasn't been pruned for many years, you may need to remove 1/3 of the branches this year, and then continue the process in future years. Okay, let's take a look over this tree. And one of the first things I'm noticing is a branch that could take over as the main stem and that I don't like. It's growing really up and vertical. So let's start with taking that out so it doesn't change the shape of the tree. Boom. All right.
Let's see if we can take a look at the tree and see if there are ways we can open it up, minimize some of the crossing branches. And I'm looking at this area right in here and kind of looking to see which of the branches I might want to keep and which I might want to cut. This branch might need to go because it doesn't really have its own space to grow into. So let's take that one down. Might have to get it from another angle. There we go. All right, that opens up the tree a little bit. And I don't think you even notice that it's missing. All right, let's look for some crossing branches. Well, I still want to keep looking to see if there are any major branches that need to go at this time. Kind of looking in this area here, maybe this branch. Now see how this branch is pretty much in the same space as this branch here. Coming out this way is a little different, but I think this branch will have to go. All right, looking around, I think that may be the big structural branches that I need to remove. This branch is a little bit tight in here, but it kind of grows into some nice spaces. I might take some of these smaller crossing branches out. So let's find around here. There we go. That can go out. Definitely looking for things like this branch that are growing into another space. There's this branch. I can open up the tree a little bit by taking this one out. This is not a branch we want to encourage. I think same this one. Just go. Great, that's opening it up nicely. This branch complex here, I think, I grab the loppers, and this one is just, this branch is growing in, doesn't have its own space to grow into. And up here we have a crossing stem that needs to go. Really thinking about this branch and whether it's contributing. I think I'm just going to take a little bit off up here. All right. A few crossing branches here. This branch here is definitely crossing. I want to encourage the tree not to grow out so much. Kind of keep it back in its space. That's good. This is a weak joint up here. More potentially crossing branches. I have their own space to grow into. This is definitely going to be a crossing. And a little thin of the small branches here, as they got nowhere to go. Oh, let's tighten that, neaten that up just a little bit there. Okay, same. This is going to be a crossing branch. These two, notice the weak joint here, and they're both kind of growing into the same space. I'll take this one. Oh, gonna need the loppers for that one. Okay, all of these are just gonna create a thicket crossing. Here's one that's just gonna cross. All right, I'm gonna encourage this plant to grow back a little bit and kind of decide. Notice how these are starting to grow into the walkway, so I really have to make sure I keep this cut back in this area. I'm going to try just some of these smaller branches, and I think this one, and this one's also growing out over the walkway. So let's see if we can just keep the plant back a little bit with that. I'm just going to thin out a little bit in here. This complex here has too much stuff going on. I think I'm going to take this one back to here, back to the main branch. I'm going to take this one back to here, and that opens up a lot of space. You're going to go across. All right. Crossing branch here's got to go. I'm going to keep this back a little bit. Actually, I think, because this is now growing into my patio, I think I'm going to cut back a little bit. Cut back. This has definitely got to go here. This is too much here. Keep this back from growing. Just keeping this plant in its space. Go up here a little bit of the patio. Just keep this back. Just keep this. All right, this branch is starting to cause me a little trouble, but I think I can just keep a couple of the bigger sides from growing into the patio. Without messing the shape up too much. Let's keep kind of a, yeah. This is growing into a space I want this branch to have, so let's take that down a little bit. Someday this whole branch may have to go to keep this tree where it's supposed to be. All right, this is starting to grow towards the house a little bit. Let's see if we can just keep back a little bit. Okay, we got a crossing branch up here. Kind of seeing if this actually has its own space to grow into. You know, what if we could just cut it back to there? This is growing into a crossing. I'll keep back a little. Okay, that is not looking too bad. Let's clean up down here a little. Clean up in here. Keep air circulation in the tree. Let's see, here's a branch that's going to cross a little. This one is definitely got to go. Clean up, clean up. We don't want branches in here. Let's see, I think there's one here that's got nowhere to go. It's just kind of growing the wrong direction. Back in towards the plant. Over here, but there's too much going on right in this area. Nice. All right. Overall, pretty happy with it. Let's see if we can get just a couple more things. Keep this open in the middle. Promote good air circulation. Okay. I want to encourage that branch to grow out a little bit. Who knows? Maybe next year I'll have to cut that one all the way off. Let's go back towards the plant. I already made that cut. Huh. Just a little bit of cleanup. And a little bit of cleanup. There's a branch growing back the other way. Huh. All right. I think we're looking good. If you prune your deciduous trees every year, the pruning will continue to get easier year after year, and the tree will look great all year round. If you are interested in autumn pruning in Colorado, watch my video on fall pruning. Keep your pruners sharp and you will have happy gardening.